Slippery Slope, a true crime podcast with Dave O'Neill and Brad Oakes about Mount Isa and the missing water slide.
Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Dave O'Neill.
And I'm Bradford Oakes.
We're not journalists, we're comedians, but we were fascinated by this story when we went to Mount Isa and saw that the water slide went missing. And as we heard last week, pirates boarded the ship in or near the Suez Canal, took bits of it, and then now what, Bradford?
I don't know, but was Jack Sparrow involved?
Everyone mentions Jack Sparrow. Well, Johnny Depp is at a bit of a low point in his career. Maybe he was involved.
Maybe
he's dressing up as the pirate and doing stuff.
Now, Somalian pirates, well, or Houthi pirates.
We don't know.
Yeah. Or just larcenists.
Or just thieves, common thieves.
Yeah.
But okay, Mount Isa is waiting for their water slide. Bits of it have been stolen. What's going to happen now? Let's cross to Mark Miller, the project manager.
So what, did it go missing or did you find it? Or
No, they went missing, so they then had to remanufacture and resend out more stock, and hence the heavy delay to the project. And then the rest of it got diverted, so then the diversion had to go around the coast of Africa then.
of course, that takes a lot longer to go around the bottom of Africa.
Of course. Hence the 24-week delay.
24-week delay because they had to go around Africa. They couldn't go through the Suez Canal because of the pirate activity. That's a big delay, isn't it, 24 weeks?
Well, nearly 6 months.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know when you like order a fridge and they go, it's going to be a 2-week delay, you're like, but 6 months.
Buy a car these days, and they say, all right, well, if you need extras, it can be 9 months.
Yeah, but what was the reaction like back in Mount Isa?
We were copping it in the public because, we were all big note in our cracks that we're getting this big slide and all the rest of it. And then the goalpost just kept getting further and further away. And by the time it ended up getting here, getting installed and everything, we opened in winter. So Mount Isa City Council again loses.
There it is again, Brad. That's Coggo, the councillor from Mount Isa. 24-week delay. Now the pool is going to open. The slide is going to open in winter.
Winter, yeah.
Winter in Mount Isa.
Winter in Mount Isa, yeah, really, yeah.
What's winter in Mount Isa like?
Well, I checked, and the temperature is between 25 and 28 degrees Celsius.
Beautiful.
And for the months of last year, I think for the months of June, July and August, winter, no rain.
No rain.
No rain any day at all.
So I think they'll be right.
I don't even know if you can call that winter.
No.
You'd call that low summer, wouldn't you?
We're from the southern states. We think that's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so the slide's back on the boat. They've got extra bits from Turkey. They've gone around Africa. But how does it actually go from the boat to Mount Isa? Let's cross to Daniel from Swimplex, who was involved in the actual construction of the slide.
Lands in Brisbane and then it jumps on a train to...
A train?
Yeah, it jumps on a train. I think it went to train to Townsville and then, it jumps on a truck, obviously, from there.
Okay, so there's several forms of transport involved there. A train, a truck, a boat. It's like a kid's book. How did this water slide come to Mount Isa? It got on a boat, then a truck, then a train. No, a train, then a truck.
He said the train went to Townsville.
Does a train go to Mount Isa? It does, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe there's a low bridge.
Maybe there's a low bridge.
Yes.
Okay, so the slide's on its way. Let's cross to Shae, who actually runs the swim centre in Mount Isa, and she was there when it actually arrived.
Late April, early May 2024. 2 big trucks arrived with these containers on the back one morning, and they were unloading bit by hand, making sure everything was okay and getting it all in place, ready to start building that slide. It was pretty impressive as the pieces got together, the way it all went together and went up. And of course, then the public really started to get excited about it.
Wow, so we're getting up to the happy ending bit here. The slide's there, as Shae said, the public are getting excited about it. Putting a water slide together must be quite intense.
And look, it would be. It'd just be. You wouldn't just go, we need 2 Allen keys.
Yeah.
They need a lot of stuff because it's got to go up. It's got to get assembled, then go up.
And also, there's structural things. It's like half a building, half a slide kind of thing because it's quite high.
Yeah.
So there's health and safety issues. There's workers in high-vis. Daniel from Swimplex was actually there setting it up. Let's hear from him.
As you can imagine, something in like a 3D shape like that, like every bit that goes together, any sort of twist and turn as you're putting 2 pieces together as it meanders up the hill, you can be out a millimetre or 2 millimetres, and by the time you get to the end, you could be 3 metres out from where you want it to land. So that's probably the biggest QA process in building a slide, is getting that bit right, millimetre perfect. We call it dialling the slides. And then if it starts going wrong on you, figuring out where the problem is, whether it's in the drawings or if it's in the fiberglass or something, figuring out what's actually happening so you can get it to the end of the line. Normally the problem, in the bigger slides, bigger the tube, the harder it is, because the more rigid it is, and those were smaller tubes. 800 diameter, you can do raft slides 1200, or you do family rafts like 2400. There's just no give in a bigger piece, but the smaller pieces you can drag around a bit and let them relax overnight and manhandle them into where you want them to be, I suppose.
And you said the instructions are hard to follow?
A little bit when some of them are in Turkish, but we've learned our lessons.
Right, how long did it take to set up the Mount Isa one?
Generally you build slides, 80% of the work's on the ground. You're prefabbing everything on the ground into lifts that are manageable for whatever crane you're using, and then might have been 4 or 5 weeks on the ground and then 2 weeks in the air maybe. So you got the crane there for a week, and then you're putting all your lifts up, then your last week's detailing all your air joints. So you lift to lift, you got to align all the lifts and make sure there's no speed bumps in the joint where you rip your back apart.
Whose job is to test it out? Is that you, Dan, or?
I'm scared of heights, believe it or not. So yeah, it's a strange job to be in. Mount Isa wasn't too high, but that's about my limit. Anything over about 8 or 10 metres, my knees stop working.
Yeah, send the apprentice down.
Yeah, well, you just want to make sure that it's all A-OK. I wondered too that given, that it was reassembled on site.
But yeah, made in Turkey and put on a ship and a train and a truck.
And maybe they had a piece left over.
Oh, yeah, like when you do an IKEA furniture piece.
Yeah.
What, there's a bit of metal over there.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, okay, so we're building up to the opening. As we heard, it was in winter. Let's Coggo tell the story about the opening, the big day of the water slide opening at Mount Isa.
The opening. Well, I'll tell you a little story. So I was the first one to go down the slide at the opening, but I went in the day before and I said to our pool manager, Shae, I said, I'm not going down that tomorrow without having a practice run. So I said, I said, set that up because I'm coming in and I'm going down it. Because I'm like, we don't have slides in Mount Isa. So it's I haven't been down a lot of slides in my life. And I said, well, which one's better? And she said, the enclosed one, I think goes faster than the outside one. And I said, well, I'll go down the enclosed one. So she's got the water and it is a bit chilly and I'm going down the slide. I didn't realise because I don't know why, but when I got in there, it's pitch black. You can't see anything. So I vividly remember going down and I shit myself because it's pitch black. And then I started to go, oh my God. So I'm flying around this slide. I'm actually really, really panicking. And then they have this nice little bit about midway through all these rainbow colours or whatever. And I thought, oh, good, there's some light. Next minute, black again. I mean, you fly past it. And then I shot out at the end and I just went, oh, my God. I said, thank Christ I practiced because I knew what I was in for the next day. So that was, and when I went down, it was really good. Look, the kids loved it.
What a story, Coggo there, going down the slide.
My heart was in my mouth, Dave. I was wondering if she was going to bump into the apprentice who might have been still stuck
lodged.
in it.
I've actually been to Mount Isa and it is quite tall, the slide. And there's 2 slides you can go and one's faster than the other one. It looks a bit scary.
You didn't have time to do that, though, did you?
I didn't actually go on it, Brad.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We could say I did, but
Yeah.
there were no lifeguards. And Shae goes, just go on it. You'll be right. I'm like, yeah. And there was actually no water in it. I was going to go on it dry.
It's the guy who broke his leg on a BMX.
Yeah, I broke my leg on a BMX bike when I was 45, so I'm not that keen to do it.
Not a good idea.
Let's continue on with the opening. Danielle Slade, the water slide was sort of her idea. She used to be the mayor. When you drive past, you get an enormous sense of pride, or what is it? Or it's traumatising? What's it feel like?
I absolutely think that I'm so glad I got that done. It was worth all the arguments, it really was. And, people will never know the arguments I had to get that in place. But I've had a go on both slides. One's like a rocket. I was pretty sure I was going to be launched out and gone, and maybe a bikini wasn't the best choice of things to wear that day. But the other one was quite slow, which was great for the little ones. Yeah, but no, I think maybe I wore the bikini to show I may not be the mayor anymore, but I'm still, a resident. I don't know. I wear a bikini.
For the record, Brad, I wore a bikini when I inspected the slide too. We're all wearing bikinis. We're wearing bikinis at the moment.
We are, yes.
Part of the deal.
I'm in my Jack Sparrow one.
Yeah, Jack Sparrow. He's haunted this podcast. Let's go to Shae. So she's the manager of the swim centre. She still is. Tell us how it was on the opening.
Yeah, it was huge. We had a great day that day. Even though it was heading into winter, it was the end of May. Everyone still came down for a ride. The water was, let's say, quite brisk. We'd had a week of mornings of 2 degrees leading into it, but we did have a day, it was 28 degrees, I think, on that day. So the water definitely cooled people down, but nobody would keep off the slide. It was just, amazing.
Ivy and Hannah, can I talk to you for a second? What's the best thing about it?
The orange one goes really fast. Yeah. It's like fast and it's fun. Yeah.
Great. How many times have you been down in one day?
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
That's a few kids I chatted to who actually were veterans of the slide. They're about 10 or 8, but they'd been down the slide a lot.
I've seen some in-depth interviews in my life, Dave,
Yes.
but really you should be. You should have been on a current affair.
It was like 60 minutes there in Mount Isa of me hammering these kids.
Dave O'Neill reporting from the war zone.
They weren't that keen to talk, to be honest. But anyway, they have been on the water slide and I have not.
They've probably been warned about talking to strangers.
At the pool.
At the pool,
At
yeah.
the pool, exactly. But I had a microphone. I was like a journalist. Well, it's a feel-good ending, isn't it? The water slide arrived.
It is.
When we started this podcast, no one knew, well, people in Mount Isa knew, but no one around Australia knew whether the water slide would actually get there. But it got there.
And we're not talking about a piddly little water slide.
It's
too.
huge.
It's a massive water slide.
You know who we haven't heard from a while is Greg Campbell, who's the mayor of Cloncurry.
Oh, they had the first slide, didn't they?
They had the smaller version.
Yeah.
That's the nearest town to Mount Isa. There's a bit of rivalry going on. Should we give the final word to Greg Campbell, the mayor?
Yeah.
Might be brighter, but it was never going to be better because it was just in Mount Isa.
Have you been on the Mount Isa water slide?
No, why would I need to when we've got this one?
Yeah, well.
That's the kind of thing a mayor says.
Well, he's happy with the Cloncurry water slide. Maybe that'll be our next project, Brad. We'll do a podcast on the Cloncurry water slide.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if there's a story there, though.
look, I think what's going to happen is after this goes out, this podcast, we're probably going to hear from people with other similar stories.
Yeah, if you've got any small crime incidents in your country town, contact us.
Any incidents of piracy, please don't say Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, any incidents of things going missing. It's been a great tale.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I've been Dave O'Neill.
I'm Bradford Oates.
We'll speak to you again
Thank
for
you.
the next crime.
Goodbye.
Slippery Slope, a true crime podcast about Mount Isa and the missing water slide with Dave O'Neill and Brad Oakes.
Slippery Slope is written and hosted by Dave O'Neill and Brad Oakes. Original music created by Itinerant Productions. Check out their website, there's some great stuff there, www.itinerantproduction.com. Editing by Courtney Carthy, published by Nearly Media. Thank you to all the guests involved in the making of Slippery Slope, particularly the people of Mount Isa. Find more information in the episode notes or at nearly.com.au.